Good afternoon or good morning, whenever it may be. Welcome to my open house. My name is Mrs. Denna, and I'm going to talk to you today about AP Computer Science A, or programming in Java. I just wanted to start with a quick little overview about me to give you a little insight into who is teaching your son or daughter. This is my 18th year here at Fremd, and I teach AP Java and mobile app development. I first started teaching all math, and now I teach all computer science. I have a double major in math and computer programming, and I also have 2 masters. My claim to fame is that I met Bill Gates during an internship for Microsoft in 2002. So that was my fun little college experience. And I do a lot of volunteer work with Ups for Downs. Our middle daughter has Down syndrome, and so that's what has made us passionate about this organization. And within the schoolhouse, I have sponsored and started a club called Life, which helps students build positive friendships with their peers of all abilities. All right, so what are we going to learn in this class? First of all, we're going to spend first semester developing a foundation. We'll learn about data types and objects and classes, method writing. We'll learn about how to do if statements and loops, and just overall logic and decision statements. And then we're going to work on arrays and array lists. We may get into searching and sorting first semester, but probably not. Second semester, we will talk about inheritance and polymorphism. We'll get into searching and sorting if we did not first semester, and then recursion. And then after that, we will work on AP review to help prepare the students for their AP exam. So what is it like to be a student in my class? Well, this year is different than most years. But this year, to tell you what it's like to be a student in my class, the students, we will do some coding exercises in class. I will have them watch a video for homework where they will pre-learn some skills we're going to be working on. Then I will go through those skills again. So they've heard it once by the video teacher, then they hear it again through me, and together they hopefully have really mastered those skills. And then we will practice a little bit. We'll do some free coding together. Sometimes I'll put them in breakout rooms with a small task to do. But ultimately, my goal is to each day give them opportunity to ask homework questions, code every single day, and just really try to make our classroom environment open and inviting where we make mistakes, we make errors, and we learn from them. Because the best way to learn how to code is to figure out how to fix your own problems. Students who don't know how to fix their problems ultimately don't last very long in programming. And so that's a skill that I really want to teach them. One of the things I want to do is I want to real quick demo something called CodeHS, which is the system that we use for our coding environment. So typically we create all of our own curriculum, but this year is a little different. And with CodeHS, we have access to videos and notes, coding environment, their IDE or coding platform, all built into the online system. And it allows the students to do their work, ask for questions, look at notes, documentations, all in one. And with the remote world that we're in right now, we felt that this was best for all students. So right now we're logged into my student account, and you can see what your son or daughter would see when they log into CodeHS. And so right here we can see upcoming assignments. We can see past due. Yikes, I have a lot of assignments I didn't do. Bad student. And then we can see assignments that are coming up soon. We can also view all due dates. We can click over here and we can see our grades. Now this is a little misleading because it only shows you the grades of what you've done. So clearly this student has a lot of missing work. So if you click on grades, it might say that I have an A, for example, and oh, actually it does say I have an F. Well, that's because I did poorly on the quiz. But if that grade wouldn't have been in there, it would say that I had an A, even though I'm clearly missing a lot of work. So the grades can be a little misleading. Then if you go all the way down to the bottom and click on this progress, this is the link that I find most useful as a parent to check on your son or daughter to see how they're doing. So if we click on this link, we can see the unit at a quick bird's eye view. So each of these circles represents a unit in CodeHS. Right now we're in unit 2 using objects. Now the gray circles represent things that have not even been opened. Now me, student Denna, has not opened a lot of these things. Teacher Denna has, but not student Denna. The yellow represents things that I have opened and done some work on, and the green represents something that I've done work on and submitted. So what you would hope to see on your son or daughter's work would be a screen that has a lot of greens. Now, when I look at things to assign, as we look through all these different icons, they start with a video, which is the lesson and the slides. Then we have these little, this little check mark, and that's just a daily quiz. These I don't require. I recommend they do them for self-reflection and checking on their skills, but I also suggest they save them up and use them to study for the actual full unit quiz. Then we have these little paper sheets, and those are examples. Now, the examples are pre-written out code that already works, that mirrors what was taught in the lesson. And then we have the little pencils, and the pencils represent exercises or coding tasks that they need to do. So for example, if I were to click on one of these pencils, what happens is the assignment pops up. I can read the instructions, I can say, let's go. And then here, if I click on assignment, I can see the assignment again. I can also see my due date and realize I'm kind of pretty far behind. Now, as I'm working on this code, I can click run to run my code, and my code will run right here in my environment. Now, since my code is not doing anything and nothing's really going to happen, I can click check code, and this is going to run the code against the auto grader. So what this does is this checks to see if it meets all of the cases or requirements of the problem. And clearly I didn't do very well, I didn't write any code. And this is going to tell me all the areas that I did not do well in. So I really encourage the students when they check their code, if it's not working, to look in test cases, see where it failed, and try to figure out what they need to fix in order to make it pass. If they're getting stumped, they can go under Docs, and under Docs, this right here is documentation that's built into CodeHS, which is really helpful. Let's say, for example, they forgot how to print. They can click on printing, and they'll see some examples on how to print. Grade, this is where they would view their grade and any comments that have been given by their teacher about grading. And then more, this is where we have some other options. So under more, we can see conversation, and this is a huge feature in CodeHS. This is where the student can send a question directly to me, and I can answer directly back. So they could say, for example, I don't understand how I am supposed, geez, I can't type, to get the price of dinner. Please help me. Okay, so they've explained what they don't understand. They didn't just say, I don't get it. I keep telling the students, you have to be more specific. If there's an error message that you get, I want to know what you've tried. I need to know that the students are trying to solve their own problems. And then the student can click send, and now this goes into my queue of problems to answer. Another option in more is slides. And what this does is this brings up the slideshow notes that corresponded to this lesson. And I don't know why it's not loading right now, but the slides normally load right here. My Wi-Fi is being a little sketchy. And there's a couple other links in here that you can look at as well. Okay, so now what I want to show you is what you see on the teacher end in terms of responding to the student help. So if I go ahead and log in as the teacher and go to this class, we're going to see if I go to period 2 that I have 2 questions from student Denna. I can see exactly which questions they are. So this is the question that I just posted. This is a question I posted earlier this morning. I can see a preview of what the question is, and I can click on it. And when I click on this, what this does is this brings me directly to their code. I can go ahead, I can run their code, I can see their question, and then I can respond and say, you were supposed to ask the user and save the value. And then now we've had this dialogue going back and forth. So that is how CodeHS works. It's a great system. The kids should be pretty comfortable with it by now. And I really encourage you to ask your son or daughter to sign up or to log in to show you how it works. All right, now I know that I'm running out of time, but there's a few more things that I want to show you. So let me see what else I can scooch through here. Grading scale, typical 90, 80, 70. Our tests, we're going to do a test every few units. That'll be a cumulative test. And then we have a quiz after every unit. We will get to some projects as the kids learn more. And then our homework is our daily homework that we do in CodeHS. In terms of late work, I'm kind of lenient on daily late work. I know we're all adjusting to this new process of remote learning. So I typically give them a day, next class day, so 8A to 8A, to get their work in before I start counting it late. However, if they don't get it in by the end of the unit, it's 50%. There's no flexibility on their quizzes or tests, though. I need to be able to go over the assessment the next day in a timely manner. And I also need to know that the students have been preparing for that. And so lateness on tests and quizzes, that's just something I can't do. Extra help. So I post all the notes on Schoology that are in CodeHS. There's a link to our daily agenda, which has our class plan and the homework, and it's an ongoing agenda so they can see what we did the previous day if they were absent. If they want to go back a few days, they can. I also post the homework schedule a week at a time so they can get a bird's eye view of what's coming. In terms of availability, I just showed you the chat feature. Email works as well. I prefer the chat feature if it's a question-specific question. And then Sign Up Genius. I'm sure you've heard about this. If you haven't, your son or daughter is enrolled in a group on Schoology called FHS Tutoring. All the instructions are on there, how to create an account, how to find tutoring. Essentially every day, Monday to Thursday, there's after-school tutoring in all subjects. So if they're struggling, encourage them to get help early and not wait till the end. All right, I hate talking about academic honesty. However, it's one of the things we have to address. We're learning from home, and the students need to be understanding that the work they turn in and the work they do needs to reflect their own understanding. If they're cheating, if they're copying, if someone else is doing their work, the only one that's struggling is them, because they're not going to learn Java. And when we do go back to the classroom, when they do take their AP test, when they continue on in computer science, they will realize what a poor choice that was. So just please really encourage your son or daughter to understand the importance of writing their own code and understanding it, and not just, copying and pasting it to get through it. All right, so what I'm going to talk about now are just some of the computer science electives. This is related to computers, but not necessarily my course specific. I know I'm probably going over on time, but I just want to touch on this because parents always ask. After my class, next will come mobile app development, which is also a class that I teach, or independent study. Most students take mobile apps first, then independent study. We also offer AP Stats, and then another option for many students is our education internship program, which is through the FCS department, and it's also dual credit with Harper. And we love having interns in our CS classes. They help with answering student questions and coming up with activities and grading, and it's just another connection to make with the students, and it's great for them to work on their debugging skills and their coding and so forth. This is just a flowchart of all of our different classes we offer. Most students take the route of principles, CSA, mobile apps, independent study. Some start at intro and go intro, principles, Java, mobile apps. Just kind of depends on the plan that your son or daughter is interested in. And last but not least, the AP Classroom system rolled out last year. So I will be giving out information this year for your son or daughter this week, probably, to join my classroom. Please make sure they enroll, because that's how you need to sign up for your AP exam. Whew, okay, that was it. It was so nice meeting you. I'm sorry I went a little long, but I really felt it was important to go through Code HS, because that's something specific only to computer science, and it's new this year. So even if you took other coding classes, you haven't seen that before. So I hope you don't mind that I went over, and I'm really enjoying teaching your son or daughter. I wish I got to see them in person, and I look forward to the day that I do. Thank you, and have a great morning, afternoon, or evening whenever you're watching this.